From the news desk at Diamond 88.7 FM, Ilorin, this is news around the world.
In the headlines, our court declares lawmakers' suspension unconstitutional. INEC to release revised 2027 election timetable following new electoral act. Lawlessness not new to me, says Peter Obi after a Edo attack. And on the foreign scene, Guinea detained 16 Sierra Leone soldiers over border dispute. In entertainment news, federal government responds to allegation linked to Simi's mother's daycare. From the world of sports, 11 players join Super Falcons camp ahead of Cameroon friendlies. Good evening and many thanks for joining us for news across the world on Diamond 88.7 FM Ilorin. I am OMONIKE. BABATUNDE. You can listen to us via our website at www.diamondfm.net or just live on Facebook at Diamond 887 FM. You can also download our app on Play Store, Diamond 887 FM. We'll bring you details of the news after this break. Don't go away, please.
Drug abuse affects both brain and behavior. It has multifaceted impacts on one's body, mind, and nervous system. However, you can avoid being addicted by giving zero tolerance to the use of drugs. Associate yourself with the right persons. Do not give in to peer pressure and learn to handle life's pressure rather than resorting to hard substances. Remember, Diamond 88.7 FM cares for your sound spirit and good health.
This message is from Diamond 88.7 FM.
You're welcome back from that short break. Now the news in detail. The Kwara State High Court in Ilorin on Wednesday nullifies the 3-month suspension of Honorable Saba Yisa Gideon, the member representing Edo State constituency, ruling that the action by the State House of Assembly was unconstitutional, illegal, and of no legal effect. The suspension imposed on December 18, 2025, followed allegations that Gideon recorded House proceedings without consent and shared them with an unauthorized person. Delivering the judgment, Justice Muritala Folorunsho held that emphasized that the action violated provisions of the Legislative House's Powers and Privileges Act 2017, the rules of the Kwara State House of Assembly 2019, and Section 36, subsection 1 of the Nigeria Constitution. The court set aside the suspension and granted injunctions preventing the Assembly and its agents from interfering with Gideon's legislative duties, access to Assembly premises, or payment of his salaries and entitlement. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has announced plans to issue a revised timetable for the 2027 general election following the enactment of the Electoral Act 2026. This was disclosed by INEC Chairman Professor Joash Amukito on Wednesday during a meeting with Resident Electoral Commissioners Rex and the swearing-in of Dr. Chukwuemeka Joseph as Rec for Abia State. Amopito explained that the previously announced election date, February 20, 2027 for presidential and National Assembly poll and March 6, 2027 for governorship and state assembly election were based on the old Electoral Act. With the new law in place, procedural adjustments are required, prompting the need for a revised timetable to ensure full compliance with the updated legal framework. Former Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi has said experiences of lawlessness are not new to him following an attack on him and members of the African Democratic Congress ADC in Edo State on Tuesday. Obi made this known in a post on his verified X handle on Wednesday, where he also thanked Nigerians for their prayers, calls and messages of solidarity after the incident. He expressed appreciation for the support shown to the family of former Edo State Governor Chief John Oyegun and ex-Governor Professor Osumba, noting that the goodwill strengthened his faith in the country's shared humanity and hope for a better Nigeria. Obi added that the encouragement had reinforced his commitment to national service and nation building. Governor Hamadu Umaru Fintiri of Adamawa State has condemned recent attacks on communities in Madagali and Hong local government areas, describing them as cowardly act of terrorism that will not be tolerated. In a statement issued on Wednesday, he warned perpetrators to immediately cease their violent actions or face decisive consequences. Governor Fintiri reassured residents of the state government's commitment to protecting lives and properties, highlighting past successes in confronting security challenges. He pledged close collaboration with security agencies to apprehend and bring attackers to justice while commending security forces for their courage and dedication in safeguarding communities. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Resident Electoral Commissioner for Osun State, Dr. Mutiu Agboke, has described electoral integrity as a sacred trust that must be upheld with sincerity and accountability before Allah. Speaking at INEC's 10th annual Ramadan lecture series in Osogbo on Wednesday, he stressed that conducting election with fairness, transparency, and honesty is not only a civic responsibility, but also an act of worship in Islam. Represented by the State INEC Administrative Secretary, Mrs. Adelusi Victoria Temitayo, Agboke urged electoral officials, political actors, security agencies, and voters to act with taqwa, saying such conduct would ensure credible election, peaceful campaign, and stronger democracy in Osun ahead of the August 8, 2026 governorship poll. The news across the world is reaching you from Vitamin 88.7 of Family. Laurie will go on a break now, and when we return, we'll bring you foreign, entertainment, and sport news. Don't go away, please.
Follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Diamond 887 FM. Diamond FM, shining supreme.
You're welcome back from that break. You're still listening to news across the world, reaching you from Vitamin 88.7 or from Ilorin. Now we move on to the foreign stories. Guinea's military has confirmed the detention of 16 Sierra Leonean soldiers accused of crossing into its territory and raising their national flag in the Kundaya district of the Faranad border region. According to Guinea's Ministry of National Defense, the troop entered about 1.4 kilometers inside Guinean territory without authorization on Sunday, where their equipment and supplies were seized and an investigation launched. However, the government of Sierra Leone has rejected the claim, insisting the joint security team were operating within its own territory in Falaba district, constructing a border post and accommodation facility when Guinean forces crossed over and arrested them. Freetown said the detained personnel, including at least one officer, also had their weapons and ammunition confiscated. That ends foreign news, and up next is entertainment news.
Diamond FM, entertainment news.
The The federal government has reacted to public calls for an investigation into alleged child sexual abuse at a daycare center reportedly owned by the mother of Nigerian singer Simi. The controversy followed the resurfacing of the singer's old post on X amid a rape allegation raised by a TikTok user identified as Mirabel, which sparked widespread reaction on social media. Responding to the public outcry, the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons assured Nigerians of its readiness to investigate any credible claim of child abuse or misconduct. The agency urged anyone with factual information, evidence, or direct experience to come forward and report confidentially through its official communication channels. That ends our entertainment news, and up next is our sport news.
Diamond FM Sports News.
From the world of sport today. 11 players have arrived at the Super Falcons training camp in Yaoundé ahead of two friendly matches between Cameroon's indomitable Lionesses. The camp opened on Tuesday with the arrival of head coach Justin Madugo, his assistant, and the backroom staff, marking the start of preparation for the upcoming matches. Among the early arrivals are Captain Rasheedat Ajibade, Monday Gift, Demehi Tosin, and Christy Uchebe, alongside Ngozi Okobi Okogene, Ogbona Glory, Christopher Precious, Omewa Joy, Oyene Zide Esther, Oloko Fatima, and Uwocha Favor. 13 more players are expected to join the camp in the coming days. The squad will hold their first training session later tonight as they gear up for the first friendly on Saturday, with the second match scheduled for next Tuesday. The games serve as key preparation for both teams ahead of the 2026 Women's African Cup of Nations. That's it from the world of sport. With that, we've come to the end of news across the world. But before we go, here's a recap of the major highlights. Our court declares lawmakers' suspension unconstitutional. INEC to release revised 2027 election timetable following new electoral act. Lawlessness not new to me, says Peter Obi after Edo attack. On the foreign scene, Guinea detained 16 Sierra Leone soldiers over border dispute. In entertainment news, federal government respond to allegations linked to Simi's mother's daycare. From the world of sport, 11 players joined Super Falcons camp ahead of Cameroon friendlies. For today in history, did you know that on this day, 1964, Do you know that on this day, 1964, Cassius Clay, later known as Muhammad Ali, knocked out Sonny Liston to become world heavyweight boxing champion for the first time? Now you know. For news coverage or information about happenings around you, kindly contact the Diamond FM newsroom number on 091-6062-7526. One more time, 091-6062-7526. The news was compiled and edited by Adeyemi Adewale, and I am OMONIKE. BABATUNDE. Thank you for listening to your Shani Supreme Station, and please stand by for the news in Yoruba language. Good evening.
For up-to-date news reported across the globe, be rest assured you're on the right radio dial. Diamond 88.9